In the ever-evolving landscape of African countries, three nations stand out due to their rich histories, dynamic economies, and unique cultural influences. Kenya, Ghana, and South Africa are often compared in various global discussions. In this video, we will explore and compare these countries in terms of the economy, culture, geography, education, healthcare, politics, tourism, and quality of life in 2025. By the end of this video, you have a clear understanding of the strengths and challenges each country faces. But before we continue, I'm Teresa and you're welcome back to this channel. If you are new here, consider subscribing. Don't forget to on post notification because that will notify you whenever we drop new content on this channel. Also, don't forget to like, comment, and share. So, talking about geography and landscape. Kenya, Ghana, and South Africa each offer unique geographic landscapes that shape the lives of their citizens. Kenya is famed for its diverse environment, from the savannas of the Masai Mara to the beautiful Indian Ocean coastline. With Mount Kenya towering in the center, the country's topography is as varied as its climate, which ranges from tropical to temperate. Ghana, on the other hand, is a country in West Africa, offering a mix of tropical forests, savannas, and coastlines along the Gulf of Guinea. The country is also known for its gold-rich regions and picturesque lakes, adding an additional layer of charm to its landscape. South Africa, at the southernmost tip of the continent, is perhaps the most geographically diverse. It is known for its iconic Table Mountains, Kruger National Park, and its scenic garden routes. Its varied climate and ecosystems, from the semi-arid Karoo to lush subtropical areas, have made it a favorite for travelers. Now, talking about economic outlook in 2025. In terms of GDP, South Africa is the largest economy in Africa, but it faces numerous challenges such as high unemployment, corruption, and inequality. Despite this, its mining industry, especially in platinum, gold, and diamond, remains a key pillar of the economy. Additionally, the country's industrial and services sectors plays a significant role in maintaining its economic relevance. Kenya's economy has shown robust growth with an increasing focus on technology and innovation. The Silicon Savannah in Nairobi has become a thriving tech hub, attracting global investment. The agricultural sector also remains vital, especially with coffee, tea, and horticulture exports. However, issues such as poverty and infrastructure gaps still exist. Ghana's economy has experienced rapid growth due to oil discoveries and a booming mining industry. The country is also known for being a leading cocoa producer, and its economy is increasingly diversified into sectors like construction, finance, and agriculture. Despite this, Ghana faces challenges related to inflation, public debt, and infrastructure development. Now, talking about healthcare systems. Healthcare in South Africa is well established with both public and private systems in place. However, public healthcare often suffers from inadequate resources and overcrowded facilities. The private sector, on the other hand, is world-class, offering high-quality healthcare services, though it is only accessible to those who can afford it. In 2025, the government has made efforts to improve healthcare, particularly in rural areas. Kenya has made strides in healthcare accessibility in recent years, with government initiatives aimed at expanding universal health coverage. However, the healthcare system still faces challenges, including underfunding, limited resources, and a shortage of healthcare workers in rural areas. Despite these issues, Kenya has made impressive progress in fighting diseases like malaria and HIV/AIDS. Ghana's healthcare system is improving with a focus on achieving universal health coverage. However, like Kenya, Ghana still struggles with inadequate facilities, staff shortages, and limited access to quality healthcare in rural areas. The introduction of the National Health Insurance Scheme has helped, but there is still a long way to go. Now, talking about education systems and literacy rates, South Africa has a well-established education system with a high literacy rate. However, the country faces challenges in the quality of education, particularly in public schools. The gap between urban and rural education levels remains significant, and disparities in access to quality education contribute to high dropout rates. South Africa has a growing number of private and international schools, but many young people are still left behind. Kenya has made remarkable strides in improving education, with a large percentage of the population being literate. The country's education system is based on a 12-year basic education model. In recent years, the Kenyan government has invested heavily in education, making primary and secondary schooling more accessible. However, overcrowded classrooms, underpaid teachers, and insufficient infrastructure are persistent challenges. Ghana boasts a relatively high literacy rate compared to many of its peers, with education being a priority for the government. The country's free primary and secondary education policy has had positive effects. However, issues related to underfunding, outdated curricula, and the need for better trained teachers still impact the education sector. Now, talking about political stability and governance, South Africa has a complex political landscape marked by a history of apartheid. In 2025, the country remains a stable democracy, though it is challenged by corruption and social inequality. The African National Congress has been the dominant political party since the end of apartheid, but issues like unemployment, land reform, and corruption scandals have made governance challenging. Kenya's political environment has been turbulent at times, with a history of political violence during elections. However, Kenya has been relatively stable in recent years, with a growing middle class and political reforms in place. The country's 2025 political scene will likely be shaped by economic issues, ethnic tensions, and ongoing corruption investigations. Ghana is often cited as one of the most stable countries in West Africa, with a peaceful democratic process. Its political system is based on multi-party democracy, and it has experienced peaceful transitions of power. However, like other African nations, Ghana faces challenges in governance, including corruption and political polarization. Now, talking about cultural diversity, South Africa is renowned for its cultural diversity, often referred to as the Rainbow Nation. With 11 official languages and a rich blend of ethnic groups, including Zulu, Xhosa, and Afrikaner communities, the country is home to a myriad of traditions, festivals, and cuisines. South African music, dance, and art have gained global recognition with a unique blend of African, European, and Asian influences. Kenya's cultural heritage is just as rich, with over 40 different ethnic groups, each with its own traditions, languages, and art forms. The Maasai people, famous for their unique costumes and attire, are among the most well-known ethnic groups. Kenyan music, dance, and cuisine have had a significant influence on the region. Ghana, known as the gateway to Africa, has a rich history of art, music, and dance that is deeply tied to its ethnic groups, such as the Akan, the Ewe. The country is famous for its vibrant festivals, traditional clothing, and the warmth of its people. Ghanaian music, particularly Afrobeat and highlife, is popular across the continent. Now, talking about the tourism industry, South Africa remains a top tourist destination due to its world-renowned landmarks like the Great Kruger National Park, Cape Town's beaches, and its rich cultural heritage. The tourism sector is an important part of the economy, though issues like crime and safety concerns sometimes deter tourists. However, the country is still a magnet for both luxury and ecotourism. Kenya's tourism industry thrives on its natural beauty, including the Masai Mara and Amboseli National Park and its Indian Ocean coastline. Kenya is famous for its safaris and wildlife experiences, which attract millions of tourists annually. While political instability has at times affected tourism, Kenya remains a strong contender in Africa's tourism market. Ghana's tourism industry is also growing, with an emphasis on cultural and heritage tourism. The country's slave trade history, along with landmarks like the Cape Coast Castle, draws visitors seeking to learn more about Africa's past. However, Ghana's tourism infrastructure still has room for improvement compared to its counterparts. Now, talking about quality of life and cost of living, South Africa offers a relatively high standard of living for those in urban areas with modern amenities, infrastructure, and services available. However, high crime rates, income inequality, and poor public service delivery in rural areas make the overall quality of life uneven. The cost of living is moderate, though housing and healthcare costs can be high in major cities. Kenya has a lower cost of living compared to South Africa, especially in rural areas. Nairobi, however, has seen rising costs, particularly in housing and transport. The quality of life in Kenya varies significantly between urban and rural areas, with some challenges related to infrastructure and access to services. Ghana offers a relatively low cost of living with affordable housing, food, and transportation in most areas. The country is often seen as a budget-friendly destination for expatriates. However, access to reliable healthcare, quality education, and certain consumer goods can be limited in rural regions. Now, talking about infrastructure and development, South Africa has the most advanced infrastructure of the three countries with modern roads, railways, and airports. However, infrastructure development has been hindered by corruption, mismanagement, and underinvestment. Power outages and water shortages are common in certain areas despite the country's industrial strength. Kenya has seen significant progress in infrastructure development, especially in major cities like Nairobi. The construction of modern highways, railways, and airports has helped improve connectivity. However, the rural areas still struggle with poor roads and limited access to reliable utilities. Ghana's infrastructure development has been growing steadily, but challenges remain, particularly in rural areas. The government has focused on improving roads, electricity supply, and access to clean water, but there are still significant gaps in infrastructure that hinder overall development. So, in conclusion, while South Africa, Kenya, and Ghana all have their unique strengths, the question of which country is better depends on what you value most. South Africa leads in terms of economic power and infrastructure, but faces serious challenges like inequality and corruption. Kenya is rapidly growing in terms of technology and innovation, but still struggles with poverty and infrastructure. Ghana, though smaller in size, offers political stability and a growing economy with a lower cost of living. Each country has its own set of advantages and challenges, making them appealing for different reasons. So the answer to which country is better is subjective and depends on the criteria you value the most in terms of living standards, investment opportunities, or tourism experiences. And thank you for watching our detailed comparison of Kenya, Ghana, and South Africa. Now that you have a better understanding of what makes each country unique, we would love to hear your thoughts. Which country do you think stand out in 2025 and why? Drop your comments below and let's get the conversation started. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insightful content, and be sure to hit the notification bell so you never miss an update from us. Also, if you are considering visiting, investing, or moving to any of these countries, let us know what factors matter most to you. We'd love to create more content based on your interests and questions. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next video.